I've been seeing tweets over the weekend about a new show called Centaurworld on Netflix. And I was like, ooh, that's okay. I kept seeing tweets about it and how good it was, from a few artists and whatnot, from a few people, creators I like. And I was like, maybe there's something to this. And it's on Netflix, and I looked it up, and it was like 10 episodes. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll check out this Centaurworld. Sure, let's see what this is about. And, how do I describe this show? It's kind of like... Okay, my first go-to is Adventure Time, because it's kind of weird like Adventure Time. But it also reminds me of, like, a Charlie the Unicorn, llamas with hats style thing. I don't think it... I mean, it gets dark in places. I don't think it ever gets as dark as, like, a Charlie the Unicorn, llamas wearing hats thing. But it gets dark. I'll say it gets a little dark. But I think this is a good show. I really do. Something that surprised me is it's a musical, which I was not expecting. Because it reminds me of Adventure Time, because, like, it starts off and there's, like, this war going on. And our main character, Horse, who just goes by Horse, which is, that's how I fucking... That's me as an inexperienced hack. That's how I name characters, I name characters after, like, a distinguishing character trait or an eye color. But nope, the main character in this is called Horse. Right? It's actually real. It works. And then their writer is called Ryder. Also, full spoilers ahead. I guess I should say that. I liked it. I watched all 10 episodes in because I had 2 days off. So I watched all 10 episodes in 2 days. And yeah, it's a good show. It's a musical, which I didn't expect. And I did get some of the music stuck in my head, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, just a weird show called... Like, the picture on Netflix is a picture of a butt. Like, it's like this butt house. And I was like, okay. But, the animation looked good, and I was like... And, some people I like who were like, oh yeah, it's good. And I was like, okay, right, fine, I'll give it I'll see what this is about, right? People I know like this, I'll give it a chance. And since then, it's gotten even bigger. Since then, I've seen more people talk about it. It starts off with, like, this horse, and there's, like, this war, and, oh, the village has been burned down, but hey, the heroes have this artifact, and then the horse falls off a cliff, and all of a sudden they're in Centaurworld, where all the creatures are centaurs, and it's like all, and it's right, it's that contrast between, like, the dark, gritty war of worlds, and now we have the world of centaurs that's all glittery and colorful, and it's fun. It's a fun world. I keep going back to the music, because the music is just such a, like, I didn't know it was a musical, because, like, and especially when I think of musical shows, I think Phineas and Ferb. And Phineas and Ferb had one song per episode. And this one has several. Admittedly, the songs in this show I think most of them are like a minute long. I did look up the soundtrack afterwards, because the song that got stuck in my head is one called The Nowhere King. So, right, like, in like 3 or 4 episodes in, I think it's 4, they're traveling along the path near the end of the episode, and all of a sudden, like, the flowers and the winds start singing a song about the Nowhere King, who will, like, eat your joy and kill you. And it's like this lullaby style thing, and it just got stuck in my head. And there's one song at the very end that's sung by, not the villain, not the Nowhere King, but, like, one of the other characters who, like, steals the key, and that's the other one that got stuck in my head. I think it's called, like, Nothing Good. That's the other one that's just unkillable earworm. But there's a lot of fun songs and a lot of fun moments. Character-wise, I have some problems. The main character, Horse, is great. The Wamawink, the pink sheep tar, I don't know, whatever Wamawink is also pretty good. I like Wamawink's arc and Wamawink's development. Everyone else, though, kind of falls on this spectrum of, like, oh, you're fine to, wow, you are annoying as hell. Most of the main cast is fine. Most of the time, like, the zebra, I don't remember, the only name I remember is Wamawink and horse and rider, and yeah, that's it. Water baby, I remember water baby. Yeah, no, I got nothing else, but yeah, I liked Womawink and I liked horse, and they're the crux of the show, so that's where it works. But the zebra is fine. I felt like the zebra was fine, pretty solid. Same thing with the bird thing. I want to call it Brad. It's not Brad. The bird thing is kind of annoying because it's like, but I like its dynamic that it's kind of like constantly shitting on horse. But there's like the secret like admiration to horse that occasionally comes out. That's some good stuff. The zebra is kind of vain, but that also works, especially when they do there's an episode that kind of parodies Cats, the musical. And that episode works really well, and that one's fun. And then there's some of the other characters. The tummy horse. Or, is it even a horse? Is it like an antelope? I don't know what it is. But the one with the tummy portal is, like, they're a is it kleptomaniac where they steal stuff? Right, they are stealing stuff constantly. And some of it pays off. Like, there's this tree person. God, I remember this name, Jebri. And it's like constantly talking about how cold it is and how it wants its jacket. And then in the final episode, it's revealed that the horse has the jacket, even though Jebri never gets their jacket back, which was kind of dumb. Like, I was like, come on, pay that. You've set it up so well, just pay it off now. Give Jebri the jacket. Come on. I like Jebri. It's clear that I did it because I remember the name. I think it was something like that, anyways. But yeah. Other than that, the kleptomania stuff is she's fine. She's fine. And then the giraffe is also fine. But sometimes the giraffe is just too fucking stupid for his own good. And like the episode, right? The one where they parody cats. That was the one that got to me with the giraffe. Because it's just like, he's not paying attention for most of the episode, and like horse or the zebra will explain something and the giraffe will be like, wait, what just happened? Like, he's not paying attention. He's just a little too stupid for his own good. And for most of it was fine, but by the time the cats episode happened, which I think was like 7, it had worn on me, and I was like, nope, I'm done with this. There's some other fun and lovable characters throughout. There's a mermaid who I liked, and Water Baby's not bad. Comfortable Doug. That's another good one. And the Comfortable Doug just shows up at the end and gives this whole song. Yeah. The whole mole scene, like where they go and the horse's tail is talking and everything, is kind of weird. I don't want to say it's bad. It's just kind of weird. Again, the songs do some heavy lifting at some points, and I mean, the songs are fun sometimes. Because yeah, as time goes on, like, this horse is slowly turning into like a creature from Centaurworld. They never actually turn into a centaur, which is, I think that was a good move. Like, they become more animated as time goes on, and they look, because, you know, they start off looking like just an animated horse, but by the end they look like a cartoon horse, which there is a difference. And then the humans, meanwhile, so there's only 2 humans throughout the entire show. I mean, there's a lot of like human-like creatures. Like there's a I can't use that word on Twitch, but there's like a basement dwelling bear tar that is that like has this like diorama set, like, you know, like Warhammer 40k figures, and like they look pretty human, but there's some humans in there. So there are some like centaurs that are like, the giraffe one has like a human torso but a giraffe neck and then a humanish head, whereas Womawink is like a pink sheep thing that just looks like a pink sheep thing with extra arms. I don't really understand how the bird works and its handsome face and its legs, and because its legs look like bones to me personally. There's 2 humans. There's Ryder, and then there's the other one whose name I don't remember. But like they have like the key, and like they're watching them the entire time. And there's just something about the humans that like was weird. Like, it's not, I don't want to say they felt off, But, like, there was something with the animation on the two humans that I just couldn't pin. Like, I just couldn't figure it out. I thought I had for a second there. Because part of me, because, like, they look human, right? It's 2D animation. But there's just something about them that, like, doesn't look like 2D animation. Right? Like, maybe it's the shading, like, maybe... But, like, Horse... Before Horse turns into, like, a cartoon from, like, the Centaurworld, Horse looks fine. Horse looks to fit in, but it's just the humans look different. And I couldn't figure it out. And I still kind of can't. I started to theorize that it has something to do with, that what if... Are the humans 3D animated? I started to wonder that. Because, like, I've seen some animes where, like, the humans are, where, like, characters are done in, like, 3D animation. And I've actually seen it both. I've seen it where normal humans are done with normal, like, 2D animation, and then the show shift to, like, 3D animation for, like, more cartoony segments, but I've also seen the opposite. So I don't know, because, like, what's the anime movie called? Is it Lou Over the Wall, where it's like humans, but it uses like a 3D animation, but it makes the humans look 2D. And for a moment, I was like, is it doing something like that? I didn't look into it, so I shouldn't say, I don't know the answer. But I don't think it is, because I kind of looked at Lou Over the Wall again, and like other similar like 3D animations that's designed to look 2D, and it didn't match up. But there's something up with the humans that I couldn't pin. But they just... It's not that they don't look right. They look good. But there's just something about... Maybe it's the shading. I don't know. There was something where I was like, something's weird here. Every time there was like the writer on screen or whatnot, it was always something that like was in the back of my mind. Like, something's up here. It's... through just 10 episodes... It's a short season, 10 episodes, 20 minutes in and out. It's a very standard plot, right? They're just following it's the Rainbow Road. Not the Yellow Brick Road, the Rainbow Road, and they come across threats and obstacles as they go. The horse learns lessons, Womawink learns lessons. The other characters don't really... It's mostly just those two, with occasional moments shined on the others. But again, the stuff with Horse and Womawink are so good. There's a flashback sequence that's just handled really well. And that's like in like the second or third episode. Probably the fourth episode now that I'm thinking about it. I don't know. It's very early on. It's done really well. And I don't know. Those were the characters I like. Horse and Womawink, I was totally in on. I was totally buying everything they were selling. And yeah, and the show ends on... It's not really a cliffhanger per se, but like throughout the entire show, there's like, you know, modern day cartoons, you know, you can look all light and friendly, but you need to have like some sort of like deeper subplot going on or some like deeper, darker thing. Adventure Time, for example, had the whole premise that, hey, guess what? This world is a post-apocalyptic nuclear war world. Yeah, it's kind of something like that here, where like there's this war going on in the human world. And yet they're fighting off minotaurs, which are like, you know, which were at war with the centaurs at one point. And there's all these hints that like centaurs and humans were to work together at one point to fight off the minotaurs. But now the minotaurs are all in the human world for some reason. Even though in like the first episode, the tummy portal one references like the monsters they're fighting, even though that never comes up again until like the final episode. But yeah, there's this whole war that, because like in the first episode they're like trapped in a bubble because Womawink's trying to keep everyone safe, because you find out horrible things have happened to her, and it might be related because in all like the murals of Centaurworld, all the centaurs look like Womawink's people. So like there's something going on there. And yeah, so, and of course, by the end of the season, they've opened the portal up so the worlds are connected, so now they can go back and forth. But in the process, they've unleashed the Nowhere King, or this show's Lich, who at least looks to be more promising than Adventure Time's Lich, who just, you know, turned into a giant baby after like 10 seasons. And and there's something with like the other human has some sort of connection to the Nowhere King, and like they used to be like partners or something, and something horrible happened at some point, and I don't know, it seems really interesting, and they're hinting that, hey, the horse is staying in this world to like train the people of Centaurworld for war, whereas the human we've been following is going back to warn the general, because, you know, the war is still going on, and then the Nowhere King is, I don't know, and something, I don't know, there's something where like the Nowhere King is clearly like a centaur who was betrayed and locked between the worlds. And it's, I don't know, it's, I don't think, like, I don't want to make the mistake that I did with Infinity Train, where I was like, something greater is going on here, and then it was like, no, it really isn't. It's just that this is just a really good show that's talking about depression and anxiety and whatnot, and there isn't really that much, like, and that's not, like, when I'm saying, like, Infinity Train, at least I never saw it past the first season. But at least based on the first season, I was like, oh, there's something deeper going on here. And there really wasn't. Maybe that happened in later seasons, but it never seemed like there was. Instead, it was just a really good show about that. Because you don't always need these, like, deep, complex things. But the way the show is written, there's clearly some sort of deeper, complex thing going on here that they're going to pay off next season. And yeah, no, I'm totally down for another season of this. I enjoyed it. I love the music. I've been listening to the soundtrack, at least parts of it, you know. I can't. Some of those songs are very situational. A lot of reprises, but yeah. I needed something to break Sayonara Wild Hearts off my radar, which is what I've been listening to since, June. So yeah, that's Centaurworld. Really good. Go give it a watch. It's on Netflix. Finally, a reason for me to use fucking Netflix again, which I just never do anymore. Like, I don't even know why I have Netflix, just to watch that He-Man reboot I'll get to eventually. I'll get to it. I don't know. I just don't have time. She-Ra, which I've been meaning to watch for freaking years now.
1 hour later.
Okay, so earlier when we were talking about Centaurworld, I forgot to mention. So it's a musical, and a lot of the music is fun. For some reason, all I kept thinking about with the music was in Rick and Morty, season 2, episode 4. I think it's episode 4. The one with Total Recall, where with like all the imaginary characters. Right, you know the episode I'm talking about, right? With all like the Mr. Belvedere and Photography Raptor, Frankenstein's Monster, Ghost in a Jar, Hammer Eye, Amish, Cyborg, Reverse Giraffe, Mrs. Refrigerator, Wizard Baby Wizard, whatever it is, Pencilvester. Well, in that episode, there's a point where Summer... Oh, we got eliminated. There's a point where Summer has her imaginary friends, and they go to Never Past Bedtime Land, right? With Never Past Bedtime Land. And for some reason, when I first started watching Centaurworld, all I could think of was that song, the Never Past Bedtime Land song. That's all I could think about. And it was like, oh my, it was driving me. Like, and even now, like, just thinking about Centaurworld again, I've now started, like, doing the Never Past Bedtime Land song in my head again. Oh my gosh. And I meant to mention that earlier, and I just completely forgot. Because it's Never Past Bedtime Land.